Like Andre always knew he was going to fight this kind of a fight. You know, I felt like Kovalev thought he would eventually get him out of this, so he wouldn't have to be this kind of a fight. But it became this kind of a fight the whole fight.
What do you think about the different scorecards? What do you think about the different scorecards? You got
the champ.
See?
That doesn't get me.
Olympic, two-time Olympic champ right here.
Hey, did you feel the punches sitting ringside when they were landing those bounces? Wow.
I wasn't really thinking because a lot of the shots were landing so cleanly. You know, like I felt like after the knockdown, Kovalev never landed. I'm like clean shot. You know, like it was all, and I felt like it was going to be that kind of a tip-to-tap fight where shots were going to land on the arms and the stomach. You know, a partial shot to the head, and that's what it became. You know, and I feel like Andre was going to be a better fighter at that kind of fight. You know, like tip-to-tap. Also, as the fight went on, he got his timing really well. Like if you watch the fight closely, forget these counterballs. Kovalev keeps missing by about 3 inches. You know what I mean? Like Andre just got him missing, and sometimes he'd make a miss. He's a foul with a jab. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes Kovalev did land the jab. Sometimes Kovalev did land the right hand to the stomach. But the play, he's taking the play away. If you come to Andre Ward kind of fight, and he get inside it and push it. Sometimes I remember the one round he came right out to the middle of the ring and got right in his chest. You know, he was trying to set the tempo mentally. It was not always about the physical fight. I remember one particular round, Andre came out. And instead of getting in a stance, he just went right into his chest and just, you know, started bullying him and trying to push him around. Because again, a fight is not just jab and tactics. Sometimes it's about mentally bossing it, you know. And I felt like at certain moments, all he was trying to do was take the mental play away from him. Like, nah, I'm the boss tonight. We're gonna do it my way. You know what I mean? And I felt like he needed to convince him. And I felt like little by little, I don't think Kovalev ever felt out of control. Don't get me wrong, but I did feel little by little Kovalev started to like become frustrated and fatigued and just like you know, not get a little bit frustrated at the fact that he couldn't land these shots, big shots he wanted to land.
Paulie, for the record, how do you think this was?
It was close. People telling me no, it was close. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guys behind this, like a lot of them, but they always miss a good fight, no matter how close you put those guys. You know what I mean? They had like a few rounds. It was like 5-6 rounds up for Kovalev. You know, like you're missing a great fight. I don't know, like it was like round 8, and these guys had like Kovalev up by 5 points a bunch of them, and I'm like, what a shame you're missing a good fight. You're missing a good performance by Andre Ward. I'm thinking in my mind, like, you know, like because it's masterful the way he's able to just nick these rounds. And again, you want to give him to Kovalev, some of them, okay, but he's nicked these rounds, but he's also mentally staying in the fight and starting to take the mental play away from him. That is so difficult. I can't even put it into words how difficult that is to do. After you've been knocked down, the guy has a reputation of a killer. You got to look up at him and know that he's going to come right back at you to finish you. The crowd of 20,000 people here knows this guy's a destroyer, and he's about to destroy you. And you're all by yourself in that moment, and you got to convince yourself, not only am I staying in this ring right now for the next half hour, because there's 10 rounds to go, I'm going to not only stay in this ring right now, but I'm going to actually come kick your ass too. It's so difficult to convince yourself in that moment to do that. You know, most guys just get up, and you see what Kovalev's done to most guys. Most guys just end up getting finished off right there. You know, Hopkins, you know, he got up and he boxed in a very witty, very cagey way, but he wasn't trying to win the rest of the fight. I'm sorry. Andre Ward got up and tried to win the rest of the fight.
How good
Even more difficult.
How good night for this for boxing since you're part of the game?
I don't know, because I feel like you got to actually know your boxing in order to really give this kind of fight credit. I appreciate this fight because I understand how difficult it is to get through this fight. Yeah, I don't even know if the peers. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like for me, like I've been down in fights. I've been in tough physical fights. Like I understand how hard it is to grind yourself every single round and get through this every single round. And every moment of the 3 minutes is panic. Like every moment of the 3 minutes is like, whoa, you know, like you one wrong move, you could be on the canvas again. And it's like, I understand that feeling, and so to remain strong-hearted, strong-headed the whole time, despite all this going on, despite what's already happened earlier in the fight, is so difficult. And for me, it's motivational. This is motivational inspiration, bro. This is inspirational.
Hey, Paulie?
Another close fight. I'm telling you, this is never going to be a one-sided fight. This is never going to be a one-sided fight, no matter what. I give Andre the edge in the rematch, but it's not like you're not going to be able to go put your house on it. That's for sure. You know what I mean?
Paulie, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paulie, what'd you think of the referee job when it got to the rough stuff?
You know, one thing I've noticed about referees in boxing, they could probably sit in the front row and take a seat, and you know, they don't partake in really refereeing. But I felt like this fight was always going to be that kind of a physical battle. I don't know that Andre was doing anything wrong, really. You know, he was just getting in there and trying to jockey for position, and Sergey was jockeying for position back. It's always going to be that kind of fight. Some guys fight like that. So, you know, you can't complain about it sometimes and then sometimes not complain about it. Because Sean Porter, for example, fights like that every fight. So, you know, you can't DQ Sean Porter every time he fights. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the way you can't DQ guys in this kind of a fight. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. You know, I'm not complaining about it at all. Sometimes it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? And you got to figure out a way. If guys will start throwing headbutts like this or literally showing your elbow, okay. You know what I mean? Like, you got to give one. But that kind of rough stuff, that's part of the game. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with it.
What do you think about the adjustments? I ask 10 people and I get 10 different scorecards.
Because it's that kind of a fight. It's that kind of a fight. It depends on what you appreciate. You also have to understand what's going on in there to a degree. I mean, for me, I don't think a lot of people are going to understand what I just explained to you guys. It's so deep. It's so deep in the moment.
You have to be a fighter to understand it?
I don't know. I mean, because I don't know what it's like to not be a fighter. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it's. I can't tell you. Oh, you got to be a fighter to understand it. Because I don't know what the other side would feel without ever having stepped in the ring. I don't know. You know. So I gotta have my perspective, my view from my experience. But it doesn't mean like, oh, nobody's allowed to have a perspective. No, it just doesn't mean that. You know. But at the same time, I can give you my perspective and why I have my perspective and why I'm talking to you this way based on my life. You know, and based on what I've seen and experienced, and also what I've seen. It's not just what I've experienced.
Does anybody lose tonight? I mean,
I hope not. I hope people can at least appreciate this fight. And I'd love to see a rematch. I feel like Sergey deserves it. And I feel like, you know, both guys fought their hearts out, and I would like to see a rematch.
Andre showed a lot. Did Sergey show a lot? Andre showed a lot. What did you think you saw from Sergey tonight?
Same thing. You know what I mean? You know, I thought Sergey faded a little bit late, but he stuck with it, man. You know, he didn't say what's going on over here. You know, he's still listening to John David Jackson, giving him good instructions in the corner. You know, John David, I saw the instructions in both corners. Good instructions. You know, Virgil was very motivating to Andre because he felt like, you know, it was time to motivate his fighter because he'd been down. It wasn't so much tactical. So honestly, the knockdown in the second round, I didn't think it was a tactical error at all. Like when I saw the knockdown, Andre's looking to counter over the top of the jab. He's rolling on the top of the jab, and he's looking to counter with the right hand. But sometimes when you make this move, the risk you take when you make this move, and I've made the same move sometimes. I've never paid with it I've never paid with a knockdown, but it's the same move we all make. We roll on the jab, it flies over our shoulder, and this guy's stepping in with his jab. So when you come over the top with the right hand, he's right there. The risk you take when doing that is sometimes the guy's coming with a 1-2 and not with a jab. So in the moment it takes you to roll and come back with yours, a 1-2 is a straight combination, so he's going to get there first because his momentum is coming forward. So what happened there, Andre made the right move if it was a single jab. But you can't time, in the moment, you don't know if it's going to be a 1-2 or just a jab. You know, a guy can disguise it very well. So Andre expected a single jab, rolled and countered. It would have been a great counter because he made the right move, the perfect move, and he made it at the right time. If you look at it, he timed it perfectly. The only thing is, Sergey came with a 1-2. So Sergey's right hand beats him to the spot. Why? Because when you make this move, you got to rock back first. You got to make the move, you got to rock. So the rocking back makes you lose a split second to the right hand that's already on its way. So you're going to run into it. So in reality, he didn't do anything wrong. He just misinterpreted the move. So so he didn't need tactical advice. What he needed to be was motivated. And how did Virgil Hunter know that too? Because also Virgil Hunter has been with the guy for 20 years. So you know your fighter as a fighter and you know him as a man. So you know what it takes in that moment. Okay, what do I got to tell him in this moment? It's not tactical advice because you don't want him to doubt his tactics because his tactics are correct. And obviously they ended up being correct. So you don't want to give him tactical advice in that moment. You got to motivate him to let him know that it's all going to be okay and you got to get your charge going. From the same token, John David Jackson was giving good advice to Sergey. You know, trying to create that distance, create that space. Let your punches dictate from the outside. You know, because there's moments when you're on the outside, you got to land. But Sergey was having trouble landing it cleanly after that second round. Because without that mistake from Andre, and again, you want to call it a mistake, again, I just explained to you why it's not a mistake, but without Andre's cooperation, Sergey was having a lot of trouble landing a clean shot.
It seemed like after 4 or 5 rounds, Sergey wasn't throwing the jab, and the jab was really keeping on.
Yeah, Sergey came and went with the jab. Like he was like, it was moments where he came back and it was like heavy, but there was times I felt like when Sergey couldn't land it, he would just stop using it. You don't want to stop using a jab. You just want to change the rhythm on it.
You know, if you would have kept using it.
It could have, but at the same time, if you're not using a correct jab, you may get countered over the top of it too. So the thing about a jab, you got to use it correctly. The jab is a simple punch, but if you start showing the same one or doing the same thing or throwing it the same way, you're gonna start getting countered over the top of it or underneath it even. You know what I mean? So sometimes guys go away from it because they don't feel confident in it. Maybe they feel like might start getting countered. Andre will give you those looks to where he'll make you risk. He'll make you feel like you're risking throwing something if you throw it at the wrong time. So I don't know what was going through Sergey's mind. It's possible. I'm just telling you possibilities that might have been running through guys' minds in the moments. You know, again, it's a little deeper to understand. And I don't expect everybody to understand it to that depth. But I just hope people understand it enough to, be happy with the fight, no matter who you thought won the fight, and hopefully we get a rematch.
After the knock.
Ward dominated the second half of the fight. What adjustments do you think he made to be able to do that?
Well, first of all, he never stopped trying to win the fight. He never stopped trying to boss the fight. So he wanted to take the mental play away from Sergey. And also, it wasn't really the adjustment because I don't think there was anything wrong with his tactics to begin with. It was about him staying with his game plan. I think he made it a very physical fight. I don't know if that was always the plan because in round one, you're not gonna come out in round one and go right into the guy's chest, right? So you're gonna find out if it was gonna be a physical fight after a few rounds once he's warmed up. Because the first round, you're gonna come out, you're gonna get in your stance, and you're gonna see what's going on. You know what I mean? So I don't know if being physical was always the game plan or if it became the game plan once he got knocked down. We'll never know because he got knocked down and that's the way it played out. I do feel being physical was always part of the game plan. I don't know if it was that much part of the game plan. I don't know. We'll never know now because he got knocked down in round two and we saw what he did afterwards. So I don't know. Either my biggest impression was again the way he stayed committed to the fight. He didn't just stay in the fight because you can stay in the fight. Sometimes you get in there, you get up and you're tough and you stay in the fight because it's your responsibility. He stayed in the fight and then he stayed committed to winning the fight.
After the knock,
how difficult is it to stay committed when you're down in round two?
It's very difficult. Like I said before, you had a guy who's known as a destroyer. You got a guy who's being watched by 20,000 people screaming at you, been down. A guy who finishes guys, and you're on the canvas getting up, looking at him across the ring. That's what's waiting for you. The guy you know is a destroyer. Your mind is gonna mess with you in that moment. Most guys are finished right there. It's so difficult to overcome that particular moment. That moment right there finishes fights because fighters beat themselves in that moment. And so he stayed committed. And you win the next round, you get a little bit more confidence. You touch him, you get another round where he doesn't touch you much, and little by little, you start believing again. You know what I mean? And maybe the other guy you might have a little bit of doubt creeping in the other guy. Again, it's a mental battle as much as a physical battle. It's a war that's won with little battles, just like a real war. A war is one with little battles. Right? There's little battles going on every minute of every round.
After Ward always dominate. Like when we think pound for pound, we feel domination. Ward had to go through a lot of adversity tonight. Is that even built even more of a pound for pound champion? Or
No, it's just here's the thing. Even when Floyd makes it look easy, it doesn't mean he's not having moments of trouble. He just knows how to turn it around and make it look easy. I felt like Floyd and the Jose Luis Castillo fights had two very difficult fights. Even if he made the second one look look easy. If you watch the second Jose Luis Castillo fight, he's suffering through it. He's just managing to win every single round, but he's suffering through every single round. So again, I feel like adversity is only recognized by certain people too. It's great to play the role though. Floyd will make it look easy, but it's not always that easy. Even the Jesus Chavez fight, if you remember, he's down 3 rounds to none, and the guy's throwing 100 punches a round. You don't know if this guy's gonna keep throwing as many punches. What the hell's going on over here? Stay committed to the win, start wearing them down. So it's different. There's different points of creating doubt and having to overcome that.
After Ward got knocked down, I noticed he committed to the body attack. And from the mind of a fighter, how risky is that when he's dealing with a killer like Kovalev?
He committed to the body attack, but he committed to the body attack at real close range. Like it wasn't like it was anything effective, I thought, but it was like just to show him like on the way out, just smack him, and the other way smack him. Just smack him. He wasn't really doing it, but what you're doing is you're showing the mean intention. Like break. You know what I mean? Now you're breaking. The guy's like, damn, this guy's still here to win. He's mean. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, it sounds so stupid. But it plays into every little bit plays on the mind. It's crazy, because what you're thinking on your break is like, this guy ain't going nowhere right now. This guy's staying here. This guy's here to stay for a little while longer. You know what I mean? So pack your lunch because the night's not over. You know what I mean? So again, that plays on your mind. And speaking of adversity, again, even through the years going back to the adversity, Sugar Ray Leonard was behind against Tommy Hearns. You know what I mean? So we've seen adversity, and sometimes
just been spoiled by how.
Of course, sometimes they get spoiled. But even like I said, even Floyd has seen adversity. You just have to understand the kind of adversity it was in the moment. You know what I mean? Like he's hurt his hands in some fights. You gotta understand the type of adversity you're dealing with in certain moments. It's different kinds of adversity. Again, adversity is not always coming up off the canvas. That's easy adversity. I know it's easy to overcome. I'm saying it's easy to recognize, but it's not easy adversity. But what I'm saying is it's easy to recognize by everybody. Okay, he's going through adversity. He's down. It's the little subtle adversities that are there too that people don't always recognize.